Uh, I don't know. I would have to say the medical experience was negative. It's hard to sit and talk with someone like that, dementia. I don't know. The best parts were when I would go back further into younger years, even into his childhood. Those were things that he seemed to have a little reaction to. He remembered those things, not the current. And then toward the end, what he liked the best was when he was in the army in the 20s. He remembered those. I can't say he remembered, he didn't say anything because he didn't really speak that much, but you could see that he was interested, or he would say, yes, yes, he remembered. I don't know. There wasn't much that he responded to. Although I always tried to find something, some little hook. I'd mention a name from the past, and sometimes there would be a glimmer of remembrance.
TimeSlips is about creating meaningful engagement with elders and really anybody with cognitive or physical impairments. It works with everyone. It's about infusing some time with joy. In fact, the phrase Anne likes to use is forget memory, try imagination. So when we let go of that pressure to remember and to be right and to know everything accurately all the time and shift to imagination where anything goes, I think that TimeSlips is about the creative care revolution. It's about changing the way we care for people. We're so worried about everybody's safety, and we need to worry more about everybody's joy. And it's the creative aging revolution.
TimeSlips is a creative approach to working with people who have memory issues. And I was brought into the TimeSlips process about a year and a half ago. I am a teaching artist for the Pennsylvania Council of the Arts, and I, along with 6 other teaching artists, were trained to work with older adults to bring the practice of art, the practice of being creative, into the everyday lives of people in Pennsylvania. My best memory of baseball, it's coming in a pinch and just troubleshooting and saving the day. All of these millions of people listening on radio got to hear. Now, you have a card in front of you. I'm going to ask you just to write down your favorite sport. What would you play when you were younger? When you were younger, what would you play?
I used to fight.
Who were you fighting?
Everybody.
Why were you fighting? What were you fighting about?
With dolls.
With the dolls.
And they abuse both of us with academics.
Oh, okay. They abused both of you with academics.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They abused you. So who did you fight?
With the teachers.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Do you remember? Can you share with us a time when you really had a fight with a teacher?
I used to fight a lot with a music teacher.
With a music teacher? Yeah. Okay. Why?
I didn't like the class, so during the whole class, and making noise, so they can take me outside in punishment,
And you were happy because you got to go outside and play, right? Oh, you were a strategist back then.
My name is Carlotta Ferreira, and I just like to participate in all kinds of activities because I think that's one thing that helps older people to keep going. And I also feel that it staves off fear, because if you're aware of your surroundings and things that are happening, you're less apt to be afraid. I like the title, TimeSlips. I belong to a writing group, and I think I'm going to write something about time slips, because it does. And something like this helps you to, well, it's satisfying. I enjoyed that today. Well, when the gentleman said that it was a slow pitch or a slow way to pitch, I mean, it just brought back a lot of things, because I come from a large family, and we used to picnic with a very large family on the 4th of July, and we had enough people to make 2 baseball teams, and we used that softball. And we actually would get through maybe 1 or 2 innings. It was a lot of fun. So when you mention one thing, it leads to 3 or 4 others. And that's a positive in my estimation.
At one veteran center where I worked, the commandant found in his budget money to put one of these little journals in every resident's room. The idea being that when they have family visiting, they can do this. They can look at an image and just talk about it. Because often families are not equipped to work, they're not equipped to embrace someone who has dementia. They want to take them back and make them remember. But this is sort of an unobtrusive way to give them a meeting place. I did this baseball activity on a family Sunday at the Delaware Valley Center, and one client, not verbal at all, and he was sitting at a table with his son, daughter, and grandson. Everybody weighed in when we were talking about, what is this, what do you call this? And he started to talk about when he was young, he used to play at Light. He mentioned a place, and his family never heard this place before. I said, well, continue to talk to him about that. And they got him to share when he was a kid playing in North Philly at Light Field. And his grandson was a softball player, traveling softball player. So it culminated in a family exchange just on baseball. So families are encouraged to use this to talk, because families can be frustrated when their loved ones who have memory issues can't remember them, can't recall. It's frustrating for them. This, I think, gives everybody a little bit of light in order to have conversations and interactions and to be about something when you're there with your loved one. I'll share these around too so that you can see what these journals are. And the idea is, as your loved one shares information about an image, you write it down. You just write it down. And he or she may not remember it the next time, but you've captured something of that memory from that moment or of that story. And TimeSlips, I think, wants us to think of them as stories, not even necessarily memories, because they may not be memories. They may just be stories. And again, it's written down, it becomes a written down story, and that's it. That's it.
I think that this activity really kind of dug into the stories that each person has, that each person has, maybe they're coming from a perspective where they have memory problems or they're helping someone with memory problems, but each of them has a story that they really want to be able to share. And sometimes it's like a space where they can connect those stories is really important for them, even though it's not very medical in nature or how we conventionally think about Alzheimer's disease, for example, or mild cognitive impairment, for example. It could still give them that healing effect that we often really want to see in them, or to help them feel a little bit better about their memory problems, or help them deal with them, give them strategies to deal with them in some way. And I thought that was really inspiring.
I know one thing that could happen that would make the caregiver feel better. I don't know if it would help the patient, but to speak to the patient as though they hear you and they have feelings and there's still something in there. Because I never really felt that the doctors thought of him as a person, just a Parkinson's patient, as part of a research. If they had been more caring, even though I don't know if there was anything more medically that they could have done, I would have felt better. And I maybe would have kept on having visits. Because I would have someone who cared, who I felt cared. That was basically it. Just someone who cares about the patient and the person, and who recognizes them. Not just sort of a number. People have dementia and their minds are gone, but to me, the person still is there somewhere. I was flying blind on this. I didn't feel I had a support person. I had my family. I didn't have support. And to treat a dementia patient like a real person. Not someone who's the body that's just sitting there. That's all the advice I could give.